Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel where we talk about problem resolving. Remember, not fast motivation, but lasting navigation. And so today, I want to talk about why people stay stuck in their problems. Now, with that, most people think that they get stuck because they have like too many problems, but that's not the case at all. Because in my life, I've met so many people that have way bigger problems than I did. And at the same time as well, I've also met people that had fewer problems. And those people tend to be the one that have been stuck on it for years, right? So what's the difference here, right? Now, I don't think that these people kind of fail because of the problems that they have. I think mostly they fail because, they don't have a process for handling them. So every one of us reaches moments like this, moments where life ends up forcing us to choose some direction. Some choices are obvious, others leave us kind of standing still, wondering which way to go. You know, and so with that, everybody has problems. And one thing for certain, with these problems as you go through life, they don't discriminate. Problems are they come for rich people, they come for poor people, whether you're young or old, military people or civilians, whether you're a parent, you're a student, whether you're a business owner or a working professional. Every one of us has these types of problems. These problems could be financial, relationships, careers, health struggles, or unexpected changes that happen in our life. Now, problems, are not they're very common, and it's just part of kind of being human. And with that, one thing I've learned in life, nobody gets past. You know what I mean? It's not that whether you'll have problems or not. It's more so how will you respond to them, and that's kind of the key. Now, when it comes to these problems, most people assume that they're stuck because there's something wrong with them. I tell myself, I'm not smart enough. I'm not disciplined enough, or I just don't have what it takes. I can't ever make that $1 million. But, sometimes, in these aspects, you know, looking into the mirror, the hardest person to convince is usually yourself, and we're stronger than that. You can do a lot more. You just got to believe in yourself in a way. Now, life has a way of piling things on our shoulders as well. When it comes to these problems, responsibilities, expectations, regret, fear, failure. And, eventually, as time goes on, that weight we carry just becomes so familiar. We end up forgetting, that we got to put it back down somewhere. So, yeah, with that, what I noticed as well is that most people aren't stuck because they can't go anywhere. They're stuck because they keep walking that same path. So it's a different day, same decisions, same reactions, and you get the same outcome. To me, that's what being stuck really is. It's not a lack of movement, it's you being stuck doing the same thing over and over again. Now, at work, I always tell my team this all the time as well. 6 months from now, you'll either have 6 months worth of excuses or either 6 months worth of progress. And I always tell them, like, which one will you have in the future? So, with that as well, you know, when it comes to these things, working in cybersecurity, we get cyber attacks all day long. They're all different. They come from different places, different attackers, different organizations, different technologies that they target. But, with that, there are some similarities. There's always patterns, you know. So when these type of things happen, we actually have response plans. We have checklists. We have playbooks. We have SOPs. Not because every incident is the same. It's inherently, they have some similarities, and that process helps us navigate that uncertainty. So I started wondering, you know, I think life and these problems kind of work the same way, if we had some kind of process. So in this aspect, maybe the real problem isn't the problem itself. It's just not knowing which direction we actually take next. And that direction matters. It matters more than motivation, more than willpower, more than emotion, because all these efforts without that clear direction leads right back to where we started. Now, I don't believe people lack these potentials. I think they lack a bridge, that way to move from where they are to where they want to go and where they want to be. Now, with all this, progress isn't just one ginormous leap. It's actually a series of intentional steps. That one decision, then another one, and that's how momentum is built. And it doesn't matter if those decisions are kind of right or wrong. It's just keeping it going. So over time, I started noticing something else too. Is the way that people respond to these problems in some actual predictable ways. Some people avoid, some people overthink, and some just react. And once I started seeing those patterns, I couldn't unsee them anymore. And that's one of the reasons why I created PRS, and that's where it was born. So if you're feeling like you're stuck today, I want you to consider something for me, that maybe you're not stuck because you're incapable, you're not motivated, and this and that. It's just maybe it's because you just haven't identified your pattern yet. And once you begin to recognize that pattern, you can start to begin to change it, right? So that's pretty much all I got today. We'll continue on and do more videos. I think the next video we'll talk about how to respond to some of these problems and these issues, and maybe understanding what those patterns are as well. So yeah, so till next time, keep moving with clarity, balance, and momentum. And get ready, set, and resolve those problems. So talk to you guys later.